What's going on, guys? It's Wrath. Welcome to another video. This is going to be round 2 of the Heroines battle tournament against OP-11 Shirahosi. Definitely my second game against this ever in the entirety of this game, but be sure to comment, like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Let's get on into it. Woo!
Here comes a new challenger.
Alrighty, as you can see, we are now cutting decks, rolling to see who goes first. I'm pretty sure she ends up winning the dice roll here. I'm pretty sure these first few turns are pretty non-existent as far as us playing any cards. This matchup and the round 3 matchup, which I believe is Green Bonnie, I'm having the hardest time remembering what it is I did. And again, I know I said in way previous uploads I should probably watch these before I start commentating over them, but that just takes the fun out of it. So I'm almost positive I mulligan. Well, no, do I mulligan? I think this is, yeah. No. Oh, okay. So I think if I remember correctly, I said this is one of those hands where it's either gonna be the greatest hand of my life or it's gonna come back to bite me in the ass, because 9 times out of 10, I just end up shuffling the first hand, hoping for a better outcome. But she makes me go first. First on, I had a Otama, but I didn't want to waste it right off the bat. Just to see what the next potential card would be off of the draw. So playing this matchup a little more patient off the start. Last weekend prior, when I played Croc, I got absolutely decimated trying to figure out how this deck worked, and I definitely made a few mistakes in that process that I didn't want to make in this matchup. But from the experience, they seem to be 2 different lists. So we pop the Perona here. I think we end up taking a either a Gecko or Ryuma. Really, those are the only 2 targets in the deck that I can grab off of Perona anyway. So I either have a Ryuma in hand, I take the Gecko, or I have a Gecko in hand and I take the Ryuma. I called it. See, it's one of the 2. I don't know what's currently in my hand right now, but you can best believe that if I have one or the other, I will take one or the other, vice versa. Actually, this might be the game where I drew into nothing but geckos. I had like 3 geckos in my hand by the time like turn 6 Dawn turn rolled around. So she counters out of the 8 for 9, or no, 7 for 8. Pass. And like I said, these first few turns are just going to be a lot of nothing. We'll play a card here, we'll play a card there. So I think she activates Shirahoshi's leader ability, flipping the life face up, which allows her to play whatever card that is there. And when she passed, and I realized that when I attacked into, I didn't read the effect. So I didn't realize it was boosted to 6 when I went to go attack into it. And then, you know, this is that play where with Perona, you know, you want to rest and then poke just to, you know, see what they have, maybe waste a few cards in hand. But I ended up redacting that play, and I think just ended up playing Ryuma anyway. Of course, most, if not a lot of the cards that are played. Yeah, see, this is where I used Perona to attack into 2, thinking, oh, I was like, oh, okay. You know, we'll take it back, but I already swung with it, so I said, whatever, it's not really gonna impact anything or current game state anyway, so we just continued on. And this is where I said, okay, let me read your leader ability just to make sure I'm not missing anything. As I stated in the beginning of the video, this is like the 2nd time I've ever played against this deck in the entirety since her release, which I think hasn't been very many, maybe like 5 sets if you count EB-03 and EB-02. Not 100% sure on that. Either way, so as I said, we KO it with the Ryuma, and I believe we swing for 6 at leader. Not remembering if they counter or not. Yeah, they use the event and go to what, 9? I think it was +3, so maybe 8. I don't even exactly know what that event does, so it's either a +3 or a +4. And she is now on what, 6th on turn? Yeah, she made me go first, so that was my 5 on turn. Yeah, that would have been 5 Dawn, 4 for Ryuma. 1 Dawn on leader for 6, and they countered. Now, here in this particular part of the video, you might be wondering what's going on. She was asking a question to clarify whether or not she could use the effect to flip up another life, but basically with that life currently face up, she would have to figure out a way to flip that life face down in order to use the leader ability again to, I believe, play a body out. So I think at this point she might have to hard cast. I, for the life of me, don't remember her ability, and I literally just added the picture of Shirahosi to the beginning of the video. Now, I think this ends up locking my leader. I don't know what happens here. I think that's got to be an Arlong, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely Arlong. So something got frozen or rested, one of the two. I don't remember Arlong's effect either. So now we are on our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Dawn turn, which would make sense. We don't really have much of a trash, so going for a Gecko play here was not really gonna do us any good. It would have just been a present body on board. So I think the main goal or thought process here is, how do we get rid of the Arlong? I don't know that I have another Ryuma in hand. I might actually possibly have another Ryuma in hand. It's either that or I have a Borsalino, or I play a Sabo, one of the two. I think Sabo was the move I made here, trying to look for a Ryuma. And then we just swung for 6 and 7, or we just swung for 6 and 7. Yeah. 7, 6. I'm really not trying to make a joke. I really hate that joke. So please wipe that from your memory bank, because that is not or was my intention. I do apologize. Oh man. I'm glad this is locals, and you know, it's a good casual setting, but sometimes I do question my decisions and how long it takes me to make them. So if that's the case, then yeah, it probably is somewhat of a slow play, but that is not the intention here. I don't have very many cards that are worth playing at this point. So I'm trying to figure out the next move, and I believe Sabo is the move here. So we would just draw 2, trash 2, and I'm hoping to get into something that later will kind of maybe turn the tide in my favor. Not to say that the game's not in my favor right now. We're kind of equal. I'm still, well, she can't attack with the leader, so I stay at a nice 4 life for a good while. And I do counter out a good amount of her swings. But again, God, dude, make a move. What are you doing? Bro, this is like I'm window shopping at Walmart. Just play a card. God, you bum. I am so sorry you guys have to sit through this. I'm almost positive this is a Sabo play. Why it took me so long to decide to play a Sabo, I'm not sure. So leader ability, we swing with the Ryuma for what, 8? Just to make sure. They left 2 Dawn up, so I wanted to be safe. And yeah, so we just use Perona's ability and go from there. Yep, okay. Sabo play, called it. Why it took me so long to make that play, I'm not sure. Anyway, we play the Sabo, call the effect of the protection. Not that I was really trying to protect the Perona, but I was more after protecting the Ryuma to any potential KO, as I wanted to keep the effect live. And I do use it at some point, so I'm not sure when or where I use it. But like I said, I had quite a few geckos in hand at the start of the game, so being able to trash just something useful. I hated trashing the Tempest Kick here, just because it's a free draw, but I'm not going to say there wasn't a position to use it. I could have definitely used it in certain situations that might have netted me something else, but I feel like with the current flow of how things were going, it wouldn't have really mattered because I don't remember even what it is I got off of the Sabo to begin with. So I do believe here after she plays her turn, there's another blocker coming down at some point. Now, yeah, so they play that, activate the ability to KO, and then I just use Ryuma's on KO ability to KO that. So why not? It's free trade, nothing really lost. So they still have about 4 Dawn to work with. I really think the aspect of leaders that can't attack but have the ability of, you know, spamming bodies or just unique effects that allow them not to attack, because if they could attack it would be busted. After that play, again, they deem there's not really much worth playing at this point, or they don't have anything to play. So it's really hard. So we're just really playing with what we have. Both opening hands weren't great from the start, and we kind of mentioned it at several points throughout the game that, you know, it is what it is, and we work with what we got. So here I play the Otama. I at this point don't know what it is I'm hoping for. I think I'm hoping for a you can be my yeah, look at that, you can be my samurai. And then I may play, I do activate the you can be my samurai. Like, I don't know what I'm looking for here. Obviously it's something specific, but I really want to try a new camera angle next weekend, where if the camera is basically a bit tall enough to sit in front of me to where I can show my hand and a bit more of the opponent's mat in front of me, so it's not an entire, oh hey, like here's my hand and you can only see my hand and know what's going on board. I do want to change certain things, so that way it's less work on me, more on you guys. Just dive into the game, get the first-hand experience. But you know, obviously might cut audio out at some parts. We are a bit of a rambunctious group sometimes, so I'm not gonna say I'm a family-friendly channel, but in the spirit of keeping things somewhat PG, you may hear me curse here and there, but you know, for viewer pleasure, I do want to try and keep things at least commentary related, more focused on mine than what's going on in the actual video shop wise. So we decided to go here from swinging 7. They activate the ability. I think I just wanted to clarify if it was just for that turn or the battle, so that way I could swing with the Sabo for 7. You know, the leader can't attack, so there's not really much point in keeping a blocker up. So I said, all right, cool, let's swing with this blocker and then play another blocker. I'm gonna get probably a lot of hate for continuing to say this, Borsellino is and probably will be one of the best blockers in and out of rotation that this game has ever seen. Not being able, you can easily play around it, but obviously that's assuming you get lucky on your life trigger and are able to KO. So, woo. Yeah. Now, as we continue to move on here, we pass things. She plays a rush character here, I believe, off of, yeah. So, wait, what is it? I don't, there's a lot of, so that freezes. So the character she just played, I think, freezes my Sabo, so it can't restand or refresh. Now, this character right here, I believe, is the one that has rush. Not 100% sure on that. I'm trying to tell just by the symbol, and looking at it, it's hard for me to see. Yeah, that's the one that's got rush. And then off of one specific ability, I think it was that one that she just played, we were trying to clarify how much they would draw. She thought it was 1, but seeing as how the character or monster she just played would count itself as a whatever it was based off of what she was drawing, she would draw 2. And then I think trash 2. Draw 2, trash 2. Draw 2, trash 1, something like that. We're having a bit of not a back and forth, but you know, we're, from the first video, you know, there were a few turns, even here in this video, where, you know, we're just kind of thinking moves out and just deciding what to do. And I think throughout this game that she just did not have the greatest opening hand, and it just continued on throughout the game as it progressed, which sucks. I've been there. Happens with Magellan all the time. Not seeing the boss monster of your deck and needing it to do what it's supposed to do is something that just really hurts. You know, you can't really recover from it. So I understand. But they pass. We're on 10 now. Have a board full of Sabos, Borsellinos, Peronas, and Otamas. I think I have an 8-cost Sabo in hand, so we're looking to maybe try and wow. Okay, I don't have an 8-cost Sabo. Oh yeah, so we played the Perona event. The Perona event basically is, it's a cost 1, and it's basically Gecko Moria. You can play a Thriller Bark 6 cost from your trash, and then a 4 cost Thriller Bark from your trash. So we activate Perona's ability, play the event, and then we bring back Gecko, and we're looking to trash at least one of the searchers for the Ryuma to KO at least one of her characters. And then we use we don't have anything else to play off of the Gecko. So it is what it is. You know, there's not much you can really do in that situation. So we keep things moving. We have 2 Dawn up, and I think we have what, 1, 2, 3 potential swings that we may or may not do here. Still at a healthy 4 life over there on that side. So we do 6. I think we do 6, 7, or no, we just do 6 and 6. We keep one blocker up just in case. Not that it's always going to be a fail safe, but I feel a little more comfortable with a blocker on board. Unfortunately, I can't really say that's going to be the case next game. But that's neither here nor there. Going for leader ability, resting one Dawn, flipping the top or bottom of their life to play, what is that, a Holly? No, I don't know what that is. But it allows them to do something fancy schmancy. Oh, it allows them to flip life down? Wow. Which then, would that allow them to use leader ability again? Or use a card that... okay, not sure what happens here. They swing at life, we take it. I think that's the first life I've lost in the entirety of the first part of this game. So passing back to us, dealing with 2 bodies on their side, and that, I think that's that rush character still. So now we have Gecko, Sabo, Borsellino, and Ryuma up. I think at this point we just decide to try and chip away, as I feel that's probably the better decision to make. Again, like I said, I should probably watch these beforehand, so tomorrow, before I edit this tomorrow's video and whatnot, I'm gonna watch it back and just make sure I get things right. I want to make sure your guys' experience is at least what it is you're watching, so that way I'm not trying to come up with crap on the fly and make excuses or fill space in the video. But anyway, oh, here's the Sabo. So I think I tried to just draw things out now that I'm thinking about it. So we KO the whatever body they played before that, and the Sabo, 8-cost Sabo. So at this point we just start swinging. I don't know if that was a blocker, I don't know what that was, but so we swing 7 with the Ryuma, 7 with the Sabo, thinking they may have events up, seeing as how they still had Dawn. So we still have a wow, I didn't swing with the Moria. Did I just forget about it, or did it get frozen? Not sure how that worked. The reason we didn't KO the other game character there is I believe it was a 7-cost, and I didn't have any removal, which oddly enough, I did not see any removal until it was too late, basically. So some of these games I need to see removal, or else boards just get pretty big. So my Sabo ends up getting KO'd by a Shanks here, and I do believe they swing again at life. We take no triggers. They pass back to us, so now we have a Ryuma, a Sabo, Borsellino, and a Gecko. And what? I think they're at 2 life. We swing 8 here with the Gecko just to kind of see, poke and prod. They take, and so at that point, all right, cool. I count out the rest of the Dawn, stick it under Sabo, and I think it's like a 16, 17k swing. So all in all, GG's. Pretty fun matchup, to say the least. It's really upsetting not seeing any removal. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let's go ahead and get on to round 3. That one's definitely going to be a doozy. Have a good one, guys.